Thank you, everyone. I welcome here everyone. Sushragotam and Namaskar. In the very beginning of this auspicious academic, yes, yes.
Sound quality বাজে আসছে কেন তো? কিছু বোঝা যাচ্ছে না।
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, it's okay. Can you hear me all?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
It is clear.
Okay, it's clear.
It is not clear.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. I welcome everyone here. And Namaskar. In the very beginning of this auspicious academic program, let me welcome you all on behalf of Krishna Chandra College on this week-long online faculty development program.
Clear.
Okay. The audio is not clear.
It is clear. Maybe something wrong with the participant.
Okay. Can you hear me right now? Can you hear me right now?
Yes. Arindam, yes.
Yes, clear.
You go on.
It is very much clear. It is very much clear, no doubt.
Okay, thank you very much. So in the very beginning of this auspicious academic program, let me welcome you all on behalf of Krishna Chandra College on this week-long online faculty development program entitled Learning Management Systems and Open Educational Resources, organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, IQAC, and all the science departments of Krishna Chandra College, Hetampur, Birbhum. As you all know, this online faculty development program is organized under the strengthening component of DBT-STAR college scheme by the Department of Biotechnology, DBT, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. In today's context, we all know that both learning management systems and open educational resources emerged as very important platforms that enable the successful delivery of materials, resources, tools, and activities to students both in and outside of the classroom environment. It allows teachers to offer tailor-made instruction that can be accessed by students anytime, anywhere, without any geographic constraints. Hence, this FDP becomes very much relevant in this post-pandemic era where e-learning emerged as a significant platform of teaching and learning. So these are some of the basic information regarding the program. Now, I must welcome the distinguished guests, speakers, resource persons, and participants of this online faculty development program organized by our college. First, let me welcome in this FDP the Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir of the University of Bardwan, Professor Dr. Nimai Chandra Saha, the Chief Patron of this FDP. Thank you, sir. We welcome you all heartily in this program for your valuable time. I welcome Patron of this program, Mr. Naresh Chandra Baudi, President, Governing Body of Krishna Chandra College, and Honorable MLA elected from Dubrajpur constituency of Birbhum. I welcome the Vice Patron of this program, our own beloved Principal, Sir, Dr. Gautam Chatterjee. Thank you, sir, for all your encouragement. I also welcome Director of this program, Dr. Pallab Jyotipal, Coordinator, IQAC Krishna Chandra College, and Assistant Director of the program, Dr. Shamal Kumar Josh, HOD, Department of Chemistry, Krishna Chandra College, without whose help this program wouldn't be possible. And I also welcome all the teachers and non-teaching staff of this institute, and most importantly, all the participants who have successfully broken the geographical boundary by participating in this FDP from various parts of the country. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you all. You are the people who will make this program successful. I also extend my thanks to all the resource persons of this FDP, Dr. P. Muthupandi, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, DD, Madurai Kamraj University, Tamil Nadu, Dr. K. Thiangu, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, School of Education, Central University of Kerala, Dr. Rautung Karuntia, Associate Professor, Department of Commerce, Nagaland University, Kohima Campus, Dr. Bondu Raju, Assistant Professor, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, College of Teacher Education, Karnataka, and Dr. M. Rajendranath Babu, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, School of Education, Central University of Kerala. I want to tell a few words about our college. Affiliated under the University of Bardwan, our college, Krishna Chandra College, was established in 1897 in Hetampur village in the Birbhum district of West Bengal. It is the oldest college of the district of Birbhum, 123 years old higher educational institution of Bengal. Let me now elaborate a bit on the vision, mission and objective of our institute. The vision of our institute is to make the students cognizably sound and ethically strong so as to enable them to carry out the task of building the nation. Our mission is the universal access of learning irrespective of the caste and creed and among all the strata of the society. And our objective is to provide quality education at a minimum cost to the first generation learners and students from economically weaker section of the society. So I would now like to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to share a few words with us. Thank you everyone. Sir.
Thank you, Arindam. Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. Respected Sri Naresh Chandra Barui, President, College and Patron of the program. Respected Dr. Gautam Chatterjee, Principal, Krishna Chandra College, Hetampur. Eminent resource persons, distinguished delegates, respected guests, my fellow colleagues, participants of the present FDP, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to thank the principal and members of the organizing committee for inviting me in the inaugural ceremony of the one-week FDP. The college has been attached to the University of Burdwan since the inception of the university. Being the Vice Chancellor of the University of Burdwan, I must acknowledge the contribution of the Krishna Chandra College in the prosperity of the University of Burdwan. I am indeed more than happy to be here with you on this virtual platform. Dear colleagues, for the last 7 months, we have been passing through tough times caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Our temples, that is our classrooms, remain shut. Students could not come to their institute. We cannot focus our complete attention on teaching and research. We are compelled to stay indoors. The wheels of academic progress seem to be stuck and inscrutable darkness prevails around us. In spite of all these hindrances, we at the university and college levels are taking the teaching and learning forward by the use of technology. We have already started virtual classes, examinations, and our examinations are also being held online. We are trying our level best to keep the progress continue by whatsoever means we find suitable. It is true that we cannot freeze the time, it flies. So we should make all sorts of efforts to uplift the career of students as well as teachers. In this context, I must thank the principal and all other members of Krishna Chandra College for organizing this online faculty development program in this pandemic situation. Krishna Chandra College, widely called KC College, has been catering the needs of higher education of the people of Birbhum district and its surrounding areas since 1897. It is the oldest college of the district to create an atmosphere of learning and pedagogy for the first time in this area. The role of this college in promoting higher education in the rural district of Birbhum and its surrounding localities is significantly enormous. I'm proud to say that the college always trying to make the students cognizably sound and ethically strong so as to enable them to carry out the task of the nation. The college is also providing the universal access of learning irrespective of the caste and creed among all the strata of the society. Our university family, that is the University of Burdwan and all its affiliated colleges, is trying to expand the scope of higher education for the weaker sections of the society, including students of poor financial background of the locality who are first generation learners and the students who are marginalized in the society through the internet. Distance learning is getting new steps due to the rapid revolution of online learning. In this pandemic situation, we have no other alternatives than to resort to the opportunity of education to all. That is the objective of our government for expanding the scope of education. You may be aware that in 2018, the government of India launched Swayam, on which many online courses are hosted. These courses are meant for expanding the scope of quality education beyond all boundaries. The objective focuses to triple E, anytime, anywhere, anybody. Courses of SWAYAM are gradually gaining popularity. There are 4 basic quadrants in our education system: preparation and delivery of materials for teaching, delivery of lectures, interactions with the learners, and assessment. In online mode of learning, these quadrants are suitably designed and presented by use of ICT. There are various models of online learning like Learning Management System LMS, Open Educational Resources OER, Open Courseware, Massive Open Online Courses MOOCs, etc. These have significant impacts on e-learning. In this FDP, as I have launched on the title, emphasis will mainly be given of learning management system and open educational resources. A learning management system is a virtual learning platform to run online courses. This is software application for documentation, administration, reporting, tracking, and delivery of educational courses for the learners. The learning management system is a concept emerged really training management system TMS and e-learning courseware. Learning management system has also different categories depending upon their usage and accessibility, such as open source learning management system, cloud-based learning management system, and proprietary based learning management system. Open educational resources is another model of online learning. There have been numerous attempts to define the concept of open educational resources. The definition of open educational resources currently most often used is digitized materials offered freely and openly for educators, students, and self-learners to use and reuse for teaching, learning, and research. Open educational resources include learning content, software tools to develop, use, and distribute content and implementation resources such as open licenses. The open educational resources may or may not be part of code, but it is the educational resources of any kind. Due to popularity of learning management systems in online learning, the requirement of digital learning resources is growing up. Therefore, various national and international groups, academic institutions, universities, and colleges are developing their repositories for their members. It is a new idea to develop the educational repositories and share the contents to their groups. Some of the popular open educational repositories that I can recall right now are Common Spaces, City Online, Connections, Puriki K12, Citizendium, Guru K12, Hippocampus, IOER, Internet Archives, OER Library, Knowledge to Work, Marlot, NROER India, OER Africa, Open Washington, Oasis, OER Commons, Skills Commons, the Orange Grove, Timoa, Teaching Commons, Whisk Online, Wiki Educator, etc. I believe that in this FDP, there will be a number of lectures to be delivered by eminent personalities, and lively discussions will be made on various issues. I would urge the young teachers to learn and adopt the online mode of teaching and learning so that they could give the classroom teaching a new dimension. Do not compromise with the quality of teaching and learning. With these few words, I would like to conclude my talk. Finally, I convey my sincere thanks to all of you for joining this virtual platform. Have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your important words. You have not only enlightened us about the topic of this particular FDP, but also gave us some very important information about the open online resources. Thank you very much. So I would now like to, thank you, sir. I would now like to call our principal, sir, Dr. Rautung Chatterjee, to say a few words regarding this FDP. Sir.
Very good morning, everybody.
স্যার আমরা ভিডিওটা স্যার এক্সকিউজ মি স্যার স্যার আমরা ভিডিওটা ঘুরে গেছে আর কি একটু আপনি এটা ঘুরিয়ে নিন ভিডিওটা উল্টো দিকে ঘুরে গেছে
ভিডিও রোটেট দ্য মোবাইল স্যার
রোটেট দ্য মোবাইল স্যার
ঠিক আছে
No sir, I think it's been vertically placed. You have placed it horizontally. Sir, yes, absolutely right.
Okay, am I clear?
Yes, sir. You're clear.
Okay. Very good morning to you. Our respected VC,
Sir, your audio is not.
One week. Audio is not clear. Yes, you clear? Hello. Hello.
Okay, sir.
শোনা যাচ্ছে?
Ah, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You can continue.
Okay. So here we are very much grateful to our Vice Chancellor, sir, to this 1 week faculty development program. He is very much kind that give us some times from his valuable times. Sir, you are heartily welcome to our college FDP program. This is the first of its kind of program to be conducted by our college. It is an immense pleasure to have received innumerable response from the participants, and I sincerely hope that they would benefit from this faculty development program to a great extent by acquiring some insight about learning management systems and open education resources. My sincere gratitude goes out to the research persons, respected dignitaries, our resource person, Dr. P. Muthupandi from Tamil Nadu, Madurai Kamraj University. Welcome, sir, to our college program. Dr. K. Thiagu, Assistant Professor at Central University from Nagaland. Welcome, sir. Dr. Rautung Karunetta, Assistant Professor from Central University, Nagaland. Dr. Bondhu Raju, Assistant Professor from Karnataka, Central University. Dr. M. Rajendranath Babu, Assistant Professor, Kerala, Central University. We are very much grateful for your consent and valuable time given to us. Their presence makes us the occasion auspicious and progress to a higher level of excellence. We are very much pleased that you are present here besides your own busy schedule. Once again, many thanks to all of you on behalf of our college, on behalf of our governing body, on behalf of our teaching and non-teaching staff. Welcome all dignitaries and all participants. Being a college in a remote area, there are several challenges because you know our college situated in a rural area, that is college in a village. We have some hindrance, some constraints, such as here is little scope to maintain network with industry. There are insufficient transport facility. This is create a very much difficulty to our students, especially during exam times, and to our staff also. Most of the students belonging to the economically backward section or backward society. Meritorious students prefer colleges in the cities for their admission. Early marriage among the girl students in this area hampers in getting higher education. Although with such help of your valuable suggestions and opinion, though we have overcome the challenges, I pray the support of all of you. Hope we will have more information and help from valuable talks of the speakers. Presence of such quality resource persons enriched us. The faculties with their knowledge and wisdom on the related topics is really appreciable. My gratitude also goes out to the IQAC, Coordinator Dr. Pallab Jyotipal, and Science Department, especially Dr. Samal Kumar Jos, for not just organizing this program, but also taking a step towards the progress of the institute through this grand effort. This is the beginning of our college. Thanks to all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful and enjoyable experience here. Thanking you. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your kind and important words. Now, I will call the director of the program and the coordinator of the IQAC, Dr. Pallab Jyotipal, to say a few words regarding this FDP. Pallab, over to you.
Thank you, Arindam. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Birbhum University, respected Principal Sir, Krishna Chandra College, Honorable resource persons, my dear participants, I welcome you on behalf of IQAC and department, all science departments of our college in this faculty development program. It is our immense pleasure that our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir has joined in this meeting. We'll welcome you, sir, with sincere praise. This program is organized under the DBT-STAR college scheme from Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. We have received a prestigious fund from this DBT-STAR scheme. We are conversant about the etiquette of a virtual meeting, as we all know. Except the resource persons, all the participants are cordially requested to mute their microphone during the session and camera off for the smooth conduct of the FDP. Also follow the instructions given by the resource persons time to time regarding the use of microphone during the session. We are going with a very crucial year 2020. It is a very threatening time in respect of physical, psychological, mental, as well as economical point of view. But we have to come out from the trauma of the sufferings. We are trying to learn every hour, every day, every minute, how to live, how to breathe in this new normal, in spite of all difficulties due to COVID. There are so many good aspects also. The good aspect is that this critical time has taught us a lot of upright things. Like gradually we are habituated to avail the resources virtually. Nothing can stop the teachers to think differently, to take initiatives and to exchange knowledges. The pandemic situation cannot dampen the spirit of us. The pandemic situation around the globe the teachers and students are interact online for platform. This FDP is designed for the teachers over the country to learn various learning management systems and open educational resources. Now, an important announcement for the participants regarding the timings. Today, we have two sessions from 11 to 12:30 and 2 to 3:30. The hands-on training session is in asynchronous mode. There is no need to stay in the Google Meet in that time. The assignments will be given to you by the resource persons time to time. If you face any difficulty in completing the assignments, write in the WhatsApp group. Our resource person will assist you there. Follow the instructions of the resource person every time. A mail ID will be provided to you where you have to submit the assignments. Feedback form will be given on each session, each day. Fill them carefully. I once again welcome you all. Enjoy the session. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep social distancing. Thanking you once again for joining. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for your important words and valuable announcements. Now I would like to call our Assistant Director of this FDP, Dr. Shyamul Kumar Josh, who is also the head of the Department of Chemistry, Krishna Chandra College. Shyamula, over to you.
Thank you, Arindam. First of all, I must take the opportunity to thank all the participants for their valuable presence. Our Honorable BC Sir, distinguished speakers, and all the organizing members, President of the GB, Principal of this college, IQAC coordinator, and all the faculty members of our college. I am very glad to share my good feelings with all of you. Now we are in the pandemic situation and whole world in a struggling condition. But an education is directly related to our existence. Hence, it can neither be stopped or become closed. We know that necessity is the mother of invention. Therefore, we are bound to depend on technology in education. Although we are trying our technology learning process with the help of some technologies, but we should have to acquire with more and more developed technology application for our smooth journey. In this regard, we have tried to organize this faculty development program to orient ourselves with the newly developed workable technology in education. So it will be grand success for us if our effort make the resourcefulness to our participants. So thank you all for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Shyamula for your important words. I would now like to move into the first session of our FDP. The inaugural session is over. We have managed to finish it within time. Our first session will be by Dr. Rautung. It will be on the open educational resources, OER, and open licensing. Let me talk a bit about Dr. Rautung. Dr. Rautung is currently an associate professor in the University of Nagaland, Department of Commerce. It's a central university located in Kohima. He has completed his MCom and PhD from Nagaland University, and currently he is teaching computer application in business, e-commerce, and accounting information system. He has done his PhD on institutional role in the industrial development of Nagaland and empirical study. He has also many publications to his credit, more than 10 publications in his credit. He has published research articles on the role of financial institutions for promotion of industries in Nagaland, on the performance of evaluation of Nagaland Mechanized Bricks Company Limited, etc. I would now like to call Dr. Rautung to begin his session, the first session of this online FDP. Thank you everyone. Dr. Rautung, sir, are you there?
Yeah, please.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir. You may
Thank you.
begin your session. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Palaf, for the wonderful, undeserving introduction. I really love to hear, though I don't deserve it. I will not want to reiterate on what you have spoken. My background, you have already spoken. So I will straight away would like to go to the topic that has been allotted to me in an era, in the days where a lot of pandemic has been going on. And because of this fear, psychosis, a lot of people has gone either into hiding or have gone online. And the best way to go online at this juncture, in this global pandemic, will be to talk about the resources that is available online. I will definitely want to spend some more time with these amazing participants. I want to share. I'm giving you a presentation, my PPT presentation. If you can look at the slides, I will straight away take you to the presentation.
Yes, sir, it is visible. It is visible, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pala. Now, please bear with the inconveniences because of the network. We are staying in a place where there is a lot of network problem, yet we're trying our best to connect to you globally. If not, at least we're connected to West Bengal now, Nagaland and West Bengal. Wonderful connection. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity. I shall be talking on what is open educational resources and open licensing. In fact, if you allow me to give you a brief introduction of what are the requisite requirement to become a good online teacher. I think we need to have a galaxy of bright idea as a good teacher. To be a good online teacher is not something very easy. It's not something that you bake the cake and have it too. You need a galaxy of bright ideas. You need a memory of an 11, if not the logic of a computer. So to say, you need to have a very, very crystal clear communication system, either with your own students, with the stakeholders, or with your colleagues. We also need to have an eyesight that is capable of, turning 360 degree, and we all need to see more of positives before we look at the negative aspects in life to become a good online teacher. Maybe we also will be required to have an X-ray vision. While having said so, we also need a very, very healthy, wholesome sense of humor with no trace or room for sarcasm, racism, or ridicule. A good teacher will definitely will have a good leadership quality. He will also have the heart of gold. If given the opportunity, you also need to have an administrative arm, a firm grip. You also need to write the scripts, musicians' fingers. If you want to be a good musician, your finger is all that matter. The magical wind comes only from the magical fingers that you have to be a good musician. Similarly, if we are to become a good online teacher, we need also to develop the flexibility to sail across different cultural curriculum and activities. India is known for a wonderful cultural diversity. So we need to respect the diversity and accordingly develop and try to get ourselves adapted with the curriculum and activities the country offers. Still, other requirement for a good teacher can be in the form of a helping hand, maybe a very, very encouraging hand, a guiding hand, and of course, you need a very, very, very strong moral values, solid foundation of knowledge. The same solid foundation of knowledge should be firmly rooted in what we call a culture of learning. This is the background I actually wanted to start with. Now allow me to come straight to what is open and open educational resources. I know you're all familiar with what is OER in an era of online and internet era. I think we all know what is open, but how open is open, we need to look at before we really go into the nitty-gritty of what is OER. You can see today, if you can take a quick look at my slide, almost everything the world over. I'm sure the whole West Bengal being one of the most advanced country from the point of view of connectivity, from the point of view of technology, you know, everything, the whole world has become almost open. Everything is open. Maybe we see that openness in the form of open access, maybe in the form of open content, open in the form of courseware, open education, even electronic learning is coming in the form of open resources. But of the many more open things, I would definitely love to delve a little deeper into the open educational resources, which is none other than OER. Now, basically, OER is a kind of educational movement, if you remember. This is, of course, definitely in line with the new educational policy, but in essence, open educational resources, as the name suggests, are absolutely free, with absolutely no requirement for making any payment, no sign up for anything. You also need not share any of your personal information, or even there is no any requirement to subscribe to the website or to the resources. Absolutely nothing. Free to get the resource or to own it. So again, I don't know how far I'll be right if I say free is not even the best part. The best part of these open educational resources is that of what you can do with these freely available open licensed resources in the form of textbooks, that can also be in the form of media, also in the form of videos, articles, and many, many more. And the same resources, which I've just noted now, textbooks, media, videos, articles, journals, books, I mean, many other, it can even be in the form of videos or images. These are all useful for teaching, learning, and assessing, as well as for research purposes. I know you are all ardent researchers, so a lot of collaborative research, a lot of collaboration can be had if we resort to these open educational resources, as the name suggests. Now then, these open educational resources are basically a tool for teaching, learning, and research. These materials are useful for teaching, learning, and research. But the same materials are available either in the form of open educational resources in public domain, which is absolutely no copyright, or it can be even licensed in a manner that will provide everyone, every users of that resources, creative works of someone's, which is absolutely free, and of course, perpetual permission also. It's not that you will use these resources once and tomorrow you will not be allowed to use the same resources again. So it's basically two things. That means it is free as well as perpetual. Permission is also perpetual, and this perpetual permission is given absolutely to allow any of the users to engage in 5R activities. I know you're all familiar with what is 5R activities. 5R activities. But before that, we also need to have a quick look at the subtle point of distinction between public, what is absolutely public domain, and what is free. The two things speaks almost similar language, but from the technical perspective, I think literally public domain is that domain which consists of all the creative works, whatever works, resources, articles, books, or research work you have done, to which you and I don't have exclusive intellectual property rights applicable. That means in the any resources or material that is available in the public domain is no longer having exclusive intellectual property rights. That means either those rights, the copyrights or intellectual property rights, might have expired, or the same creative work might have been forfeited. Expressly, you must have waived it, or maybe in due course of time, it has become inapplicable. While in the case of free license, as you can see on the slide, it is either open license, free license, or otherwise synonymously we call free license as even open license. It is a kind of license agreement that contains certain provisions allowing the individuals to reuse another person's work. In other words, such permission to use another person's work gives them 4 major freedoms. I'll be taking you through those 4 freedoms when we talk about the resources and the types of OER and the licensing that is required. So without a special license, these uses are normally prohibited by copyright law or commercial license. So from this, we take you to another domain called public domain works. If you can quickly take a look at the slide, you can see from the slide, I've written very clearly, but very succinctly, I've used a very, very clear language. Works or any aspects of the copyrighted work which the copyright law does not protect anymore. That means there is no further protection of the copyright law, that it becomes public domain works. Typically, such works become a part of public domain because either their term of protection under the same or the owner as the original creator of that creative work, you have, or you and I, we have failed to follow certain required formalities, or more so, the same works are no longer eligible for copyright protection. So there are 3 possible public free access, which can be in the form of public domain works, which can be from or simple public domain, and which can be in the form of free license or open license. Now, having said that, when we have already elaborated on the importance of open educational resources, we also need to look at the subtle point of distinction, or rather the features of what is copyrighted works. Now, when we talk about copyright, we are talking about the exclusive right which has already been given to the creators and to the authors to take protection, to protect their original works. And copyright is also considered to be an incentive for those creative authors and creators, as well as a means of financial compensation. If your work is having some copyright and you have, got yourself registered with the copyright authority, then you get some kind of financial compensation for the intellectual property. That was the bygone days. Now, with the coming of the online era, we're talking more about the open educational resources, which you can use, but without really having to shell out any penny from your pocket. So it is also considered to be automatic. When you just created some work, it becomes automatically all rights reserved. So all rights reserved in the case of copyright, you'll find even if nothing is mentioned, it means all rights reserved. You cannot use it, you cannot reproduce it, you cannot modify it, you cannot redistribute it, or you cannot even use it without the copyright permission from the copyright holder. So copyright holder has the exclusive right for a certain period of time, after which time it's not a lifetime. Most of the creative works also does not remain, for copyrighted for a lifetime. So after the expiry of certain time, the works finally, eventually culminates in the public domain. And when we talk about public domain, it will consist of all the creative work to which no exclusive intellectual property rights is applicable. And that public domain, the same rights might have ever been forfeited, or expressly it has become inapplicable. Now you must be wondering why I have taken you to those OER, copyright and OER. But before we really come to what is OER, more so, I will also want you to take a quick look at all those 5R activities which I've mentioned in my earlier slides. If you talk about the 5R activities of open educational resources, then you have the right to retain, you have the right to reuse, you are given the freedom to revise someone's work. You can also remix it, and you can also redistribute it. In other words, you can also share copies of the original work. You can either revise it, or you can remix it, a copy of the resource with the others, and you have to give attribution. And that attribution will come when we talk about Creative Commons. We'll talk about Creative Commons and OER Commons. So basically, now then, I can safely conclude that open educational resources refers to a freely accessible and openly licensed resources in the form of text, in the form of media, and other digital assets. Basically, it is useful for teaching. It is also useful for learning, assessing, and for research purposes. These are the 4 very, very important, useful application to which open educational resources can be put into. So if you look at the definition given by the Commonwealth of Learning, it's basically open educational resources is materials offered very freely, openly to use and adapt, mainly for teaching, learning, development, and research purposes. That is what the Commonwealth of Learning has defined what OER is all about. I will not take you to how OER has, evolved and what has become of OER today. You are all learned people. With due respect to your time and the topic that is allotted to me, and the importance of, I would rather take you more to the practical side of how we can access the OER and what other types of OER available. I have one small reader. There is one certain thing that does not get reduced after sharing with someone else's. And what is that? That can be in the form of resources. I'd rather take you straight to the point. In open educational resource environment, allow me to tell you that there are 2 very, very common things which is absolutely to your advantage. One is, when you use, or when OER is available, platform is available, we have freedom to access and license or the permission to use in accordance with what the creators work, the creator, the original creator, the contributors requires of us. Now, freedom from what? Freedom to access anything that is coming within the meaning of OER platform. You will have the freedom to have access to the resources. You can also copy, you can also use it, you can adapt, and you can share.
Sir, I'm interrupting a bit. Your presentation, I think, is not visible.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Can you please reshare it? Just stop the presentation, and you can then reshare it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
Yes, it is visible, right? Thank you.
I'll stop and present again. That means.
Yes, present.
Okay, thank you, Palak, Dr. Palak. Yes, thank you. I'll do it again. The whole screen, maybe. Now open again.
Okay, sorry. Okay. I was not able to see. Okay, thank you, sir.
You're able to see now, please, Dr. Pallab?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
I can
yes,
see. I can
yes,
see.
yes,
Thank you, Dr. Pallab. Yes, yes. So let me get back to what I have been sharing. You see, exclusively when we talk about the open educational environment, this is one beautiful educational environment. It's also a kind of an educational movement. Therefore, you have but only advantages. That means the advantages far outweighs the disadvantages when we talk about the OER environment. You have exclusively two things all to your advantage. One is you have the freedom, and the other absolute advantage you have in using these open educational resources is you have not only the freedom to access, but you also have the license or the permission to use in accordance with what the original creator desires or requires of you. So this freedom can come in the form of open access, freedom to open access, freedom to access, rather, freedom to copy someone's work, freedom to use someone's work. Even you can give your work for someone to use. That is, I mean, vice versa. You can adapt, someone can adapt your work, you can share, someone also will share the resources and the work. Similarly, not without implication. That implications will come in the form of licenses. That means at least you have to give attributes. You code the, if you have use someone's creative work, then the minimum courtesy we can do is at least give attributes. These things we will take up when we come to Creative Commons in our ensuing discussion. So open in open content. As David Willey, if you allow me to quote what he has spoken, I quote, "A door can be wide open, mostly open. The same door can also be cracked, slightly opened, or completely closed. So can your eyes, so can your eyes, so can my eyes and your eyes. You can also do the same. So can this window also, etc., etc. So this is how you look at how open you think is open in an open content. So we'll have to look at these 5 R's, which will follow when we talk about Creative Commons. Now, let me quickly define the open in open content. You can see it is self-explanatory. Dr. Pallab, I think I'm not going too fast. Am I okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Am I okay? Please, please, please.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, please, please. It seems like I'm running behind time. That is why I thought I'll run a little fast and then come to question round if time permits. Yeah. So we are talking about how do we define how open is open, especially when we talk about open content. How open is open? So how open is open? The same openness in the open content can be in the form of 5 R's. I'm trying to define what are those 5 R's. Let's first talk about retained. So you have 5 R's in the form of retain, reuse, revise, remix, redistribute. So 5 R's: retain, reuse, revise, remix, redistribute. So what do we mean by retaining? You can make your own copies of the content. That means, especially in this present day generation, even young children, they know how to download. And, it's more or less you're sharing certain information and resources in the social media also. You're duplicating someone's work. You can store it, and you can even manage the whole resources. That's the beauty of retaining. Then we talk about reusing the content. You can use the content in a wide array of ways. That means you can use the same resources either in the class or in study group or even on the website. I've seen some people sharing certain information and taking you from one website to another website, or even this reusing of the information or resources can be in the form of videos. Then we talk about revising it. Adaptation is very, very important. You should know how to adjust. You can also modify or even alter the entire content. That means, for example, certain content is in English. Now, what you can do is you can introduce, you can translate that content into a Bengali language or into an Assamese language, the same content, if it comes within the meaning of OER. So that's the beauty of revising it. In other words, we call this adaptation or adjustment or modification, or rather the total alteration of the content itself. That is only if the license permit, Creative Commons license permits. So you can translate it. Similarly, you can also give a little bit of your thinking and incorporate a little bit of other people's thinking. So incorporating the content into a mashup, you can mash up with either open content to create something new as if it is new. So that's another beauty. Then you can redistribute it. That means you can share copies of the original content as many times as you like. You can revise it, or you can even remix with others. That means you can give a copy. I'm giving you one classic example here of content to a friend. So you can give as a gift to a friend the same resources that was open for redistribution. So that's coming under, that is called open educational resources. Such resources will fall within the meaning of open in open content. Now, all these open educational resources could be in the form of certain activities, lab activities or labs. It can be in the form of assessment, the kind of assessment which I think it's, since it is a 5-day faculty development program on learning management system, basically you'll be, I'm sure you'll be talking more about coming up with content creation, delivery part, and of course with Google Classrooms and assessment and things like that. So we'll also be, OER could also be fall within the category of that assessment. It can also be in the form of audio lectures. It can be a case study, as if you can see my slide. Are you able to see my slide, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My slide available? Yeah, please take a quick look at that one. A quick survey of the possibilities of what OER could be. It can be curriculum standards. It can be a discussion forum, which is very famous today. It can be a full course. It can be games. It can be homework and assignment, images, illustration, text, lecture notes, lesson plan, readings, resource review, even to the point of simulation. You know what is meant by simulation effects? That also you can copycat. You can copy someone's simulation and create your own simulations. Similarly, syllabi. You're talking about syllabus. You see, there are times when we have to follow the UGC syllabus, and we have to, you know, there used to be a standard guideline for modifying certain syllabus. We take that the syllabus issued by University Grants Commission or the Department of Education as the, you know, guidelines. So on the strength of that one, OER could also be developed. So teaching and learning strategies, not forgetting the textbooks. As a teacher, those days are gone when we used to, you know, store in our library, in our personal library, even in the departmental library, if not in the university or the college main library, where books and books we used to subscribe. But those days are over. The same textbooks have all been converted into a digital format now. So OER could be one where you will have access to such textbook in a form of digital format. Then you have training materials, video lectures, as I was, lecture notes, interactive text, and so on and so forth. So all this leads us, possibility of OER leads us to one very, very important component of this OER called Creative Commons. This is as opposed to copyright. Now then, what then is Creative Commons? What is Creative Commons? What is Creative Commons? You're all familiar with the term Creative Commons, or simply CC. You can see the logo there. CC enables the sharing and use of creativity and knowledge through free legal tools. In other words, Creative Commons is one of the most developed alternative licensing approach. Alternative licensing approach. But let us be very clear that Creative Commons is definitely not an alternative, but one alternative licensing approach. It is just one approach, but not an alternative to copyright. Copyright will continue to be there. However, Creative Commons is very, very user-friendly. It is a license that is very friendly, user-friendly, especially when we come to digital materials. So most of the open educational resources will be in the form of digital materials only. So we are only but referring to, rather we are only referring to digital materials here. You know, as I was saying, what is that? What don't get reduced when you share with someone else? We are sharing knowledge. So when we share our knowledge, there is no loser. It's a win-win situation. Everybody wins. Everyone wins. Look, in the fight against this COVID-19 pandemic, even this Creative Commons, which is non-profit organizations, they call on around the world. They have been inviting organization, individuals, academicians around the world, professionals, to make their patents and copyright freely available. So you have open access to knowledge, and that access to knowledge is very critical, especially during a global health emergency, which we are experiencing today. Even I'm under quarantine. You'll be surprised that some of our, see, these are some of the things. I'm home quarantine, therefore I don't have access to the university's facilities. So these are all my home arrangement. So you will have to bear with that inconveniences. I'm also going through some kind of a small mental stress because all is not well when we are made to go through some kind of home quarantine or something like that. Now, therefore, when we talk about Creative Commons license, we are saying that it is not an alternative to copyright. I'm repeating once again that Creative Commons licenses are not an alternative to copyright. They only enable the creators, the original creators like you and me. If you can create something original, something creative contribution, academics or otherwise, then and you want to distribute the same content to a wide audience, and then what you can do is you can specify the manner in which your original work can be used while still maintaining their copyright. That means Creative Commons will give you those 5 R's, but it aims to make copyright content more active rather than just letting it go in the public domain where Tom, Dick, and Harry will pick up and then just copy paste, cut, copy and paste. So by ensuring that content, you can also, the same content can be redeveloped very easily. So this Creative Commons licenses is but one of the best alternative to copyright rather, but I'm only saying that this alternative approach, this is one best approach to copyright. Alternative approach. I'm not saying this is an absolute alternative to copyright. Therefore, this same Creative Commons rights will help the creator to retain your copyright while allowing others to copy. You are letting others copy, distribute your work, and make some uses of your work, at least non-commercially, or at some point of time, you're also trying to ensure that as a licensor, you get the credit for your work. If you have done something, why would you just simply give away? At least someone who has used your work should at least have the minimum courtesy to say at least thank you for the work, or at least quote, or this was done by such and such. Maybe Dr. Pallab has done it. And if I have to quote you today, you are the coordinator. Now, if I quote someone else's name for this 5-day success of this 5-day FDP program, then I've gone haywire. I've gone somewhere. So this is just ensuring the due share that you get the credit for your work. So it works around the world. It will last as long as applicable. Copyright lasts because they are all built on copyright. This is more or less of a copyright, but people tend to call Creative Commons as copyleft. You have copyright and copyleft. So both are coming under certain rights, left and right, maybe. So these common features will serve as the baseline on top of which any licensors can choose to grant additional permission when deciding how your work to be used. Maybe your additional permission can be you can redistribute, you can modify, you can share, you can with no derivatives, with derivatives, or simple attribution. This will come under additional permissions. So why is CC licensing needed today? OER environment without CC licensing is no OER environment. So why is CC licensing needed today? All rights reserved. You must have seen in the logo here, you can see there, all rights reserved. It is assumed for any creative work, even if the copyright symbol is not used. So anything that you have done and you have left it in the public domain, then it becomes all rights reserved. Rather, it is assumed that you don't have the right to use that one unless something is mentioned. So it is assumed that your creative work, even if copyright symbol is not used, it is all rights reserved. Whereas in the case of Creative Commons, it will allow the original users to share your work in a legal way with all legality, at your advantage, to your advantage. And you can also define exactly what kind of sharing is allowed. You want that same resources that you have been sharing, simple attribution, thank you, got your name, or you also want that the same person also should redistribute it, should revise it, should adapt it, or should remix it. So those are some of the rights which comes within the meaning of CC licensing. Now CC licensing therefore is basically a legally valid and accepted form of licensing. That means the same licensing will work in conjunction with and support what we call the more popular one called the all rights reserved. So all rights reserved is also to a great extent protected here when we talk about Creative Commons. All rights reserved to not distribute, to not use it, no derivation, no, we will talk about that one. So there are certain variations of CC license ranging from free to least free in the OER environment. You can see the 6 variations of Creative Commons license, ranging from the most free to use to the least free to use. If you allow me, I'm repeating here again, the CCO, you will see Creative Commons, the top one, public domain. Absolutely, it is no longer falling within the meaning of the copyrights law. Therefore, you can do whatever you like of the material that is available, but you have to see the authenticity of the sources. That's becoming a problem. So the most free open educational resources licensing will be in the form of public domain, of course, then followed by attribution, attribution share alike, attribution non-commercial, attribution no derivatives, attribution non-commercial share alike. As you can see, the different indicators here. So the least free will be attribution, non-commercial, no derivatives. You can only, in this case, this is the least free. You have to attribute, but you cannot use it commercially. You cannot modify or remix it. That means you can simply use it and give attribution. Similarly, you will find attribution and share alike. These are the more versatile and more open kind of resources available on OER. So Creative Commons will have just 4 attributes, rather common conditions. You let others copy your work, distribute, display, perform your copyrighted work, derivative based on it, but only if they give credit the way you want them to give, the way you request them to give credit. That is attribution. Share alike, it will allow others to use your derivative works only under a license identical. That means verbatim to the original work. License identical to the license. And the same person can use a license which is very much identical to the license that you have permitted them. So simply you will share alike. That governs your work. Then you have commercials and non-commercial. Here it is mentioned non-commercial. That means you cannot use it commercially, but for non-commercial purpose only. No derivative work. That means no derivative work based upon it. You can only copy, distribute, display, and perform only verbatim copies of the work, the original piece of the work, as you can see. So these are the 6 Creative Commons licenses. Now let me quickly highlight something on what is public domain tool again. CCO, you can see here, the tool. That means no rights reserved. All rights reserved as opposed to no rights reserved. So this CCO, we simply call it Creative Commons Public Domain Tool, will enable the author and the copyright owner, if you want to dedicate your work to the worldwide public domain, to do so, what you need is you need to dedicate your work in the form of CCO. That means no right reserved. It allows the licensors to waive all the rights, the legal rights, and place a work in the public domain. The public domain will identifies a work that is free of non-copyright restrictions. There is absolutely no restrictions as far as the intellectual property rights is concerned. Copyright restrictions is completely different. It is not recommended for works that are restricted by copyright laws in one or more jurisdiction. So when we talk about completely free, absolutely free in the public domain, it also poses certain risk in the sense there are certain restrictions if you fall within the meaning of the copyright law in one or more jurisdiction. I don't know much about Kolkata, but in Nagaland, we tend to follow certain deprecation of these. Then we had cases where people tend to, rewrite something in my language. Someone has reproduced in English language, my story in English. So that becomes a problem for us sometimes. So in all these things, it is not completely free to say that all material and resources that is available in the public domain are free. No rights reserved. There are certain rights always attached with it. Now, having said that, allow me to take you to some of the important tools which you can utilize for having access to high quality open educational resources in any of the subject or stream or area. There are pretty many, as you can see on the slides, there are pretty many, but my focus will be mainly on OER Commons, because we're talking about open educational resources. So OER Commons, through which you can limit your search to subject area, grade, or conditions under certain conditions of use. That means you can either redistribute it, you can use it commercially, or you can share alike. So there are certain conditions that will limit your search, and then the condition of the use also will be applicable there. And we also talk about Creative Commons search. And of course, not forgetting the Google Advanced Search, YouTube Search, general Google Search. All these tools are of good for high quality search for any of the open educational resources material in any subject. So when we talk about open educational resources, that one thing that comes to mind is only Open Educational Resources Commons. We otherwise call it as OER Commons. This is one of the most dynamic digital library and networking the world over. OER Commons. If you allow me to take, you can see the website coming in there. Oh my. I didn't see the slide coming. I think we're missing out. I've gone on to the next slide. It's not available. Yeah. Dr. Palab.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
You're not able to see the slide, I think.
No, I have seen the slide. Slide
see.
is visible. Yes.
How about the next? Oh, yes, it's coming now.
yes,
So,
it's visible.
yeah, of the many available high quality, OER search engines, we are talking about one of the most dynamic digital library and networking, which comes in the form of OER Commons. You're all familiar with the OER Commons, as I can see on the slide, on my slide. If you have access to internet, all you do is you simply click on oercommons.org, then it takes you to a website called oercommons.org. It's as simple as this. Now you can see a variety of options. What are you looking for? What are the subjects you're looking for? Your level of education, your standard, and then you search. And then these are all, as the name suggests, OER Commons. That means these are all coming under open educational resources. So you can fine-tune your search with your advanced search command also. So if you have access to internet, then you can allow me to take you to the website. I'm just trying to take you to the website. It is working. If the network. There are certain things which I will only be repeating if I don't do justice to what I have to speak, let me take you to the website. As you can see, this is the live website opening. Yeah, you can see, no?
Yes, yes.
Yes, see. So these are, what are you looking for? You are talking about the subject. So many subjects you can see here. All these subjects are coming in: social science, whatever, science, mathematics, physical science, education, English language, arts, humanities, applied science. Then you have, what are you looking for? Here, maybe you're looking for in e-commerce, as someone who teaches electronic commerce paper, accounting information and management information system. Maybe I'll look for MIS. So my level of education also will come in here. You can see. So this is absolutely one of the most dynamic digital library with absolutely nothing for you to pay anything. You don't absolutely have nothing to do here. So your standard of education also is coming. Okay. Maybe a little on the higher side, because OER came to India much later than many other advanced countries. So we are also advanced country already, but then the fact that we are slow to move, yet we capture the market. We will definitely be taking you, I'll definitely be taking you to some of the new introduction of the new initiatives of the government of India or Indian government in India on OER journey. So I will be taking you there also, but am I still there? Yeah, my thing is still visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So this is where we take. I took you to. So this is one of the most amazing, one of the most dynamic, and one of the greatest networking OER resources that you will come across. Then what you do is, the next thing is, supposing you want to search for any materials, any electronic materials for teaching, learning, assessing, or even for research purposes, then what you can do is, the best option at your doorstep is to log into Creative Search, Creative Commons search. This is one of the search engine you'll come across. So if you go there, what you do is you go straight to the Creative Commons search website, and then you enter your keyword or phrase. At the top of the page, you will have to select, I want something that I can modify, then determine the type of content that you want. Then after that, look for license agreement. Let me just quickly take you to what you can do there. So this is, sorry. Yeah. So if you click on that search, Creative Commons search, this is the first screen that you'll come to. You can see CC search, means everything is under. Only thing is, what you can do here, as you can see my cursor or not, I don't know. You can see my mouse cursor. Yes. Yeah. So I want here, you will search what type of content, you will type what type of content you are looking for, and then extreme down, all you have to do is you have to click on, select one of these. I want something I can, the first option is use commercially. The second option is modify or adapt. So either it is up to you. Then what you do is you type the search content here, then use commercially. If you want to use it commercially, then all those materials and gadgets and all those informations and resources that is permitted to be used commercially will be made available under this Creative Commons search. Or you can simply use it, modify or adapt that one. So that's another options you have. I think I did not create this one for some reason, I don't know. Okay, then another option is, you have a very high-end Google search for OER resources is Google Advanced Search. You're all familiar with Google. Even now we are sitting in the Google environment with Google Meet, Google Classroom, Google Chrome, and so many, search engines and browsers and very advanced browsers we are using. Even your Google Gmail you're using, Google Mail you're using. So similarly, when we talk about advanced search, we're also talking about Google Advanced Search. This is also one beautiful search. All you have to do is, you have to be a little clear about what you're looking for. All you have to do is you have to go to the Google Advanced Search, plug in your keywords or phrases. At the bottom of the search page, find the user's rights field. This is very, very important. You have, because here you're looking for open educational resources, which has got Creative Commons licenses, isn't it? So at the bottom of the search page, all you have to do is you have to find the usage rights field. In that usage rights field, all you have to do is you have to change the field to free to use, share, or modify, or any other options available there. So results page will show only those resources licensed under Creative Commons licenses. Then finally you can verify and determine the exact terms of use, like this. For example, you go to Google Advanced Search, isn't it? Now what you do is use its rights in that. After typing everything, your requirements, file type, sign, domain, everything, you can go to use its rights here. Use its rights. Once you click that use its right, it will give you all types of users right is there. Here I'm talking about Creative Commons licenses. So any users right with Creative Commons licenses will come under OER, commercial and other licenses. Okay, these are commercial and other licenses. So it is up to you which options you will want. If you want all, then you can click on all. So this is how you're going to filter your search in the Google Advanced Search, looking exclusively only for Creative Commons OER resources. Then you go to YouTube images for that matter. So YouTube search is another very powerful tool. You're all familiar with how to use YouTube, but I do not know if you have really used it to search only those resources which gives you Creative Commons licenses, which you can use, reuse, which you can adapt, you can distribute, remix, and you can also recreate yourself using the same original work. So all you have to do is you have to go to the YouTube, click on the YouTube address, on the link, then you get YouTube, use the filter to filter your search results to video license under a Creative Commons license. Then it's as simple as that. See, I have with me this. I've spoken enough about what is OER. Give me 2 minutes to view what is permitted under OER, Creative Commons licenses for me to use and for you to use as well. You use 100 times, 1,000 times, nobody is going to blame you for having viewed this video and used it for academic purposes. We are not using it for commercial purposes here. You can see I've just downloaded, I have given you access. This is coming under Creative Commons license, as you can see. I hope we can view that.
Yes.
I went to YouTube.
Yes.
I typed OER and I'm getting this. But in that, what I did, I used the filter key and if you look down here, so this is the OER video I'm getting. Now, if you scroll it down, you will find the license coming. Not here. My system is a little slow, just hold on. Yeah, if you just see here, why I'm using this, because I have the right to use it. Defining OER, you can see here. Down there, you can see license. Can you see the license down there? Here, the video which I'm viewing now, and we are all viewing. This comes under Creative Commons Attribution License. You can reuse. It is allowed. It is mentioned reuse allowed, isn't it? So I'm reusing it. The same video, I'm reusing it. So I'm using it legally. So this is what is called OER advantage. Now, if I click there, Creative Commons Attribution License, which permits me to use it. Yes. What are the permissions given? Creative Commons on YouTube. What? Eligible for a Creative Commons license. As you can see your original created content. You can also see the other videos marked by a Creative Commons by DY license, attribution license. You can also see certain videos in the public domain. This is coming under Creative Commons. So this means this is the same video which I'm being permitted to reuse it. So I'm reusing it. Yeah, in the same way, if I go to YouTube, I take you to another clip. This may be important. Yes. You can see here, video CC by 4.0. So this is, if I say show more, it is coming under Creative Commons Attribution License Reuse Allowed. So I'm using this. You are also, you can collaborate in your classroom also, the same video if you want to use it. So this is completely legally applicable. I mean, you have all the legal advantage to you because it is coming within the meaning of Creative Commons. That's to do with your YouTube search, because YouTube search can help you find any type of videos licensed under a Creative Commons license. So you can use it. You can use it. All you do is, please do not forget to go to the YouTube website, search for the keyword, but use the filter feature to filter your search results to video license under a Creative Commons license only. I did not show you because you're all familiar, because on the extreme left side, when you go to YouTube site and type the search command, you will be able to see the search. Yes. Then finally, we have what we call general Google search. In the general Google search, it is useful, especially when you want to broaden your horizon of your search. If you want to broaden your search, then it will return exactly from a vast array of resources that you may require significant sifting to yield any useful results. So all you have to do is you go to Google, plug in your keywords and the phrase Creative Commons. Within that Creative Commons, within quotation marks, then the result page should only show resources that is coming within the meaning of Creative Commons resources. Then finally, all you have to do as usual, any regular browser, any habitual browsers, computer savvy persons, internet savvy persons will verify the license and determine exactly what term of use is permitted under these so-called OER resources. Then very, very important thing is finding OER content. So how do we go about finding OER content? And who are the people who will be using OER? Mostly it is the students, resource constraints. Those days are gone when you pile up your library, or every students go to the market, look for, books, prescribed books. Either it is properly stored, well stored in the library, or you have to go online and look for it. So the students within the institutions are the primary users of these OER commons, or I mean not common, but open educational resources. Then certain students who are no longer regular students but are external to the institutions, they are also being, and there are some other who are interested in learning certain things at home, self-learners. Some teachers do extra courses, online courses, things like that, who needs to collaborate with some other teachers, professors, academicians. And of course, the best way to find OER is, as I have already stated in my earlier slide, all you have to do is use a very, very specialized search engine. And CC search, that means Creative Commons search, is one very powerful search engine for OER resources. And then OER Commons, of course, and of course, not forgetting the other three. So you can search using certain research tools, search strategies, discipline-wise, subject-wise, keyword, then narrow down from broad concept to using disciplinary language. From advanced search feature, you can limit your search, broaden your search like material or license type, and so on. So finding OER videos and images and content, if you go to www.youtube.com, www.flickr.com, Google Images, pixabay.com, OER Commons, Google browsers, these are some of the videos and images, text content which you'll be able to see. You're all familiar with this. Let me not go too deep into that again. But there is a diversity of OER content. There are certain course and instructor resources, content in the form of course and instructor resources, content in the form of full distance course modules, certain OER courses in the form of course modules and seminars, learning objects. Such learning objects may be in the form of images, which you can have freely access to if you log into www.flickr.com. If you want video, maybe we'll talk about www.academicearth.com, audio, maybe itunes.stanford.edu, open textbook, www.wikibooks.org, journals, www.doaj.org. This is one of the, what we call that, open journal, open access journal. So you're all familiar. What is meant by National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning? Basically, it is a project of the Ministry of Education now. Earlier, it was called Ministry of Human Resources, MHRD. Now it is called Department of Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India. This is a wonderful initiative by the 7 very prominent Indian Institute of Technologies, IITs, including Madras and Roorkee, and also a collaborative effort of the Indian Institute of Sciences. This is one website, if you visit, and you will not regret, for creating course content in engineering and sciences. If you have time, kindly access this nptl.ac.in, and then you come across an umpteen number of opportunities for creating course content in engineering and sciences. Then you have another very, very important initiatives of the Government of India, also partly National Council for Educational and Research Training Initiatives, which became operationally effective from 13 August 2013, Delhi. This is a collaboration of Department of Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India. All the contents in the National Repository of Open Educational Resources is, please remember, licensed under CC by SA, which means Creative Commons by attribution and share alike, version 3 license. So all the NCERT, National Council of Educational Textbooks are, I do not know if this book is already, we have written, I have also co-authored one of the book on entrepreneurship in Northeast. Each Northeastern states were given the opportunity to contribute something, and under NCERT, I think it was completed last year, a reference book. Professor Vaidya was the coordinator. We, from each state, we all became, PI and things like that. So we have completed one book, and that book also can be downloaded. The same textbook are licensed to download, permitted to share as it is. So there is absolutely no scope for you and I to change the content of the book coming within the meaning of this National Repository of Open Educational Resources. Non-commercially, we cannot use it commercially, and it should be properly attributed. That means attribution should be given to the NCERT textbook section. So the republication of the book is strictly prohibited. So something like this, some of the open educational initiatives in India you can come across. If you look at another initiatives, open education initiatives in India, you can see, we call it Project OSCAR. OSCAR in Open Source Courseware Animations Repository. It is another kind of repository which will provide a host of web-based interactive animations and simulations. And this interactive animations and simulations, we tend to refer this to as learning objects, LOs. So the same topics, all these topics in science and engineering at the college level, maths and science at the school level, students and teachers can view, run, and download all these learning objects. If you log into www.it.iitv.ac.in/OSCAR/, so you'll come across Project OSCAR IIT Bombay. So this is an initiative of Indian Institute of Mumbai. The content in this page is licensed under, please remember, I'm citing this because it is also licensed under, all those materials coming within this is licensed under Creative Commons license attribution, non-commercial, share alike. That means you can use, you can attribute, but not in a commercial way, and you cannot modify. In other words, you can only share alike. It has to be used in verbatim form, so you can reuse until number of times. Similarly, another initiatives of the government, initiatives in India is Open Educational Resources for Schools, OER4S. This is another beautiful initiative. If you log in, you'll find a lot of OER for schools. That's not for us actually, but then we have open educational initiatives in India coming in the form of Open OER NIOS. Now I think NIOS is called National Institute of Open Schooling. Earlier it was National Open School or something like that, if I remember right. National Open School. Now it is called National Institute of Open Schooling. So this is an initiative by NIOS. So this provides vocational, life enrichment, and community-oriented courses besides general and other academic courses. Teacher education through school-based support in India. We call it TEES India, TEES India. So if you can have access to this, I'm sharing this slide, my presentation with your organizers. So each one of you will be given a copy of this one. So you need not, all I have to do is, at least I'll send the soft copy of this one so that it reaches all of you in time. I've done a little research on this also. So maybe with certain inputs from you and more inputs from me, we will be able to do justice to this paper on open educational learning and open licensing. So these are being done. These are freely available open education resources in multiple languages. Multiple languages. It is not limited to one language or two languages, but multiple. This TEES India, Teacher Education Through School-Based Support India initiative, comprised of teacher development and school leader units, professional film videos of classrooms, teaching principles of practice, and so on and so forth. If you look at the website of the national, what did I say? NPTEL. Yes. So you'll come across nptel.ac.in. This is a electronic learning environment. These are some of the options I'm just giving because of the time constraints. I have to go. I cannot take you to the website. So if you go to the National Repository of Open Educational Resources, you will find that the wait is over. That means you have all the repository under the Government of India initiatives, under NCERT and CIET. promoting digital citizenship and online safety. You'll find a lot of materials, OER materials here. So also, if you go to Project OSCAR, National Mission on Education through ICT, this is NME ICT, Empowerment of Students and Teachers. This is one of the most advanced synchronous and asynchronous instructions platform I've come across. So you'll see Project OSCAR, open source courseware, animation repository. So all these are some of the IIT and Indian Institute of Science initiatives you come across. Then you have what we call OER4S, Open Educational Resource for Schools. This is an initiative of the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR, under the name of Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education. If you can see the website, hbcse.tifr.res.in, you will come across a lot of open educational resources material here also. Then you have open educational resources under the initiatives of National Institute of Open Schooling, formerly known as National Open School. And of course, not forgetting that TEAS India, Teacher Education Through School-Based Support. This may not be very important for teachers at the higher education level, but somehow we are talking about having access to all this. So from all this, you can see that a host of fora, a host of opportunities, an umpteen number of doors are open to collaborate for any teachers and ardent, hardcore researchers and ardent learners, seeker of knowledge, and people, like-minded people who are taking up certain research, or not only confined to teaching and learning and assessing the performance or sharing resources, but also to do with some collaborative research. So there are umpteen number of opportunities open. So I want to take you further to a much deeper into the nitty-gritty aspect of open educational resources, but due to time constraints, and you will also have to excuse me today because I have to take a little early because I'm going for a COVID test. My time is fixed at 12:30. So I'm being called by the state government. I want to see that at least I'm free from COVID, and I'm under the impression that I'm free, but yet without proper testing, I'm not able to confirm my status and position. So if you will please excuse me, thank you. I had a wonderful time, opportunity sharing the little resources, information that I think I should be able to share with you. And for other thing, you have the WhatsApp group, you have your other fora through which, through the discussion forum or through your official WhatsApp group, we can share resources if need be, and we can also carry forward our discussion further. Thank you, Dr. Palav, for the wonderful opportunity.
Thank you.
And wish me luck.
Thank you very much.
Stay negative. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for a wonderful opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking and enriching lecture on the open educational resources and open licensing. I think we are also practically enriched by your lecture to a great extent, because you have shown us the relevant websites, resources, initiatives taken by various organizations and institutions. Thank you very much. As you were very much busy right now, we will now move into the next session. We will not take any kind of questions in this particular session because sir is going to have some COVID test. So kindly excuse us. So we would now like to inform you that our next session will occur around 2 o'clock, from 2 o'clock to 3:30. It will be a session on video recording and editing tools by Dr. P. Muthupanda. So we will meet around 2 o'clock, all of them, am I right?
Yes, 5 minutes before 2 o'clock.
5 minutes before 2 o'clock, so around 1:50, 1:55, something like that.
Yeah,
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay,
thank you everyone.
again and one announcement. So I have supplied the feedback form 1 in the WhatsApp
Yes.
group for this session. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So please kindly see your WhatsApp group for the feedback form. We'll come back around 1:55. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. There is a no feedback form on WhatsApp group.
Yeah, already in we have already supplied the WhatsApp group.
Just now it has come, sir. Just now it has come.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.